Everybody, thank you all for tuning in once again. Want to make sure that you all know that we have a website that is going to be coming out, drunkuncleradio.com. Easy as that. Look it up, type it up, press the enter button, see what you find. If you're on your phone, use your thumbs, then type the enter button. It'll pop right up. That's us. Please help us. This is hard. Please.
Everybody, and welcome back to Junkdrummer TV, and welcome back to the Drunk Uncle Radio podcast. Before we get into it, we'd like to remind you all to please give us a like, comment, and a share. If you're digging what we're doing, we would really appreciate you. And today we're going to be dealing with maybe a sort of controversial subject. We're going to get out our crisp white New Balance shoes. We're going to stay the fuck away from the thermostat. And we're also going to save that big ass piece of chicken for dad rock. Jimmy, John, Adam, what do you all think of? What's the first thing you think of when you hear dad rock? John, what do you think?
Yacht rock.
Fair enough.
Yacht rock. Now that's because I am a man of a certain generation, and the music that was proffered upon, not so much me, because my parents were into classical music and shit for the most part, although I will touch on what my father's actual version of dad rock is, because that is the shit that was proffered onto me and my high school and junior high school buddies by their and our collective group of parents. Smooth and easy listening from the 70s, late 60s and 70s into the 80s.
They probably had a boat. They had a boat on the Canal River and fucking at Play Asia.
Kind of something like that, yeah.
Jimmy, you are a dad. We actually have two dads in the Drunk Uncles. Jimmy, you are a proud father of two. What do you think of? What do you think of as dad rock?
Well, I mean, if I just think of what I remember dad rock being, it was always like, I mean, Skinner, Molly Hatchet, Marshall Tucker Band, Charlie Daniels. I mean, 38 Special, all the Southern rock bands. And I mean, it'd be like Pink Floyd, Van Halen, Queen, even Styx, big time. Boston, that kind of stuff. It was the stuff that was, I mean, would have been big hits on the radio when you know the fathers I had were young. So it's just all of that.
We're going to get, and you all be thinking in the future of this podcast, we're going to ask both of you all what your kids will think of as dad rock through the influence of what you all play around the house.
Jimmy's kids will think it's bluegrass.
Yeah,
they'll think
it's bluegrass and George Jones.
Oh my God!
They'll think it's all kind of stuff. Man, it'll be George Jones one minute, and then it's like the Decemberists, and then it's like Primus or Bing Crosby or something. It's all kinds of crazy stuff.
My father was a trailblazer.
What's the other Portland band that's not the Decemberists? Simple Song, that band.
Chug Thumper? Is that
no,
one?
God damn it.
LCD Sound System?
No, they rule. But I'll look it up. Adam, who do you think of when you think of dad rock?
So when I think of dad rock, I was doing a lot of thinking about this earlier, but I have always thought of dad rock in like two sections. So in one section, I feel like you could lump basically any classic, highly lauded classic rock band into dad rock, because that is what your dad's going to be listening to when you're growing up, right? Because it's what my dad was listening to, and my uncles and whatever. But then on the other side, like the stereotypical uncool dad rock, quote unquote, fingers side is kind of what John was talking about with like the smooth yacht rock, easy listening, and basically anything else that causes really terrible dance moves. But mainly, the first one that comes to mind is fucking Little River Band. And I'll get in deeper on that later, like whenever you give me permission. But
dude, dude.
That's a mom band.
Yeah, just
See, that's another thing. We were talking about this earlier, and we'll get into some of the lists that we found. Jimmy, that band was called the Shins.
The Shins.
Yeah, when I think Decemberist, I think Shins immediately.
I forgot about the Shins. They were real big for a minute.
Man, that record that has Simple Song on it's really good. That's a fucking
the
really
one
good.
with the birds or bats or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. That's a great record. So Jimmy, Adam, we're definitely going to get back into the Little River Band because that's probably maybe the most inside baseball of the bands that we've mentioned so far. They're a big band, but they're not Steely Dan. They're not Pink Floyd.
It's just one of those
not to the
bands
moms.
that I was force fed them like as a kid, and I liked everything else that my parents played regularly. But
what's the hit? What's that hit?
Hang on, help us on the way.
Walk it through the park and reminiscing.
Yep.
I mean, that sounds like dad rock to me.
It is.
My mom played a shit ton of Little River Band. My dad, my uncle.
I'll cut this in, but there's that clip or multiple clips from that movie, The Other Guys, where Will Ferrell and
Marky Mark
are in the cop car. He's like, "We'll put on some music." They're on their way to like a bust or something like that, and he puts on Little River Band. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, Little River Band, LRB.
I got something to get you going. Let's go do some damage. Let the dragon loose.
Sounds like cover. Those all sound like covers you would play if you were a Myrtle Beach cover band.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
That's a really good one, actually.
You could shag. You would definitely be shagging to reminiscing for sure.
The keyboarders still get out and play a guitar for like 2 songs.
Play a big solo.
Play a big solo.
Yeah.
And mom and dad would come home and tell you about that amazing band they saw at Myrtle Beach.
Oh, yeah.
He had a guitar keyboard.
Actually,
you ever seen one of those?
They're no longer around anymore, but there's this really bad like high school reunion / wedding cover band in Ashland when I was growing up that my parents were crazy about because they were like the only band that did that shit around there, but they were called the Barefoot Blondes.
Oh,
and
no.
They were all wearing like, I don't know, terrible 80s suits. They all were like bleach blonde and they were all barefoot. I was like, these guys look like morons.
They were doing real good till they started playing Mr. Roboto. That one didn't get
We don't like that weird Japanese speak in there.
And y'all just get back to playing electric slide shit.
We're trying to boogie out here. And dance to Mr. Roboto.
So Jimmy actually pretty much named all the ones that I would think of as dad rock. Because Big Steve was a outlaw country Southern rock fan. God, my parents are going to fucking watch this. I always knew that dad may be overserved when I heard She Stopped Loving Her Today, because I knew that probably Big Liz was going to be yelling a couple minutes after we heard that song on the player.
When you knew the feels had come in heavy.
Dude, I get that from my parents or from my dad. Like, you get overserved, and like I have that. Like, I want to party, I want to fucking maybe hear like a Whitney Houston, but then like 3 o'clock in the morning, it's like, well, let's listen to the saddest shit that I can find on Spotify.
That's what I do. If I'm like in too deep or something in the middle of the night and I'm by myself, like, well, it's time for Vern Gosden to come on. Damn it, here we go. Sing it to me, Vern.
Elliott Smith, let's do this.
3 a.m. drunk is not a time for Black Oak, Arkansas.
No.
My Papa Jones, when he would be overserved like late at night, you always knew because he would start playing and singing George Jones. But then when my grandmother was feeling real good, you'd hear, and she'd sing along, and her longtime smoker was like, crazy.
Oh boy. So man, if you listen to Rolling Stone, and no one does anymore, because I'm not even sure if David Frick even writes for them, and if he's not writing for them now that Matt Taibbi is gone, there's really no reason to listen to anything that Rolling Stones have to say, as Rolling Stone magazine has to say. Frick. But is it Frick or Fricky? Frick. God damn it, my bad. Shit.
No, I just wanted to say that word.
Oh, okay. I think it's David Fricky. They say
It's actually pronounced it Frike.
Frike. They say that Wilco is the king's that Wilco is the king of dad rock. That they are the end all be all of dad rock. Adam, you don't sound you're not buying it.
No, I mean,
No.
I still, maybe it's just because of when I grew up or whatever, but like I still see Wilco as like this quote unquote newer thing, which I know it's not.
They're like 25 years in.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I refer to like some of the mid to late 80s Rush records as the newer ones. You know? Like
Adam thinks Greta Van Fleet's the newest shit you've ever heard.
Fuck that band, man.
That's future dad rock. Okay, so I did a Greta
They
Van
are
Fleet.
future dad rock. As to say, is Led Zeppelin dad rock? Because there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
yeah, for
are.
sure.
Definitely.
And it's funny, like it's almost a pretty good way to go about it is to just try to sound like one of those bands, because I did a Greta Van Fleet video, and I did it to really, because I have students that are into them, and I don't like them. I think that they're a complete rip off of something else. And I was like, I'm going to do this for the kids, because like this is their rock band. You know, you can't name a rock band right now. Who's a fucking rock band that didn't start 20 years ago right now? You know, name one. So it's like, okay, I'm going to do a video for the kids. And you know who it was? Dads. Telling me about how great Greta Van Fleet was in the comment section. Like, this shit sounds like when I used to get high in my Camaro in 1974.
I've been watching these boys since they were 14, and they were great then.
That's it.
I've been a fan for 10 years. Something like dad rock, it's always ever changing. You know, every new generation's gonna be listening to something else, and you don't. It's part of the march of, you know, the grand march of time is. You don't want to consider yourself of an age where, you know, the stuff you remember is, well, dad music, but it is. And there's nothing you can do about it. That's the way things go. That's the way time is, you know. We'd listen to this stuff back then and be like, oh, that's old. I mean, the shit we listen to is old now.
Yeah.
John said it earlier today.
I was listening to Pearl Jam 10 on the way home from selling a piece of gear. And I said, 2021. This
30.
record is 30 fucking years old. 30.
Dude,
Yeah.
at this point, Pearl Jam is super dad rock.
Super dad rock.
All the big four are dad rock right now.
I mean, if you're a dad aged, I don't know, say 35 to 50, which is the grand majority of most middle-aged dads, as that is middle-aged, then Pearl Jam is going to be dad rock. Nirvana is going to be dad rock.
Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
it's all going to be
dad rock.
Big time.
Fish is fucking dad rock. It's really weird, eccentric, niche dad
They're
rock.
in the little riverband category.
Yeah.
Fish is deadbeat dad rock.
Yeah, it's like the Grateful Dead. What the Grateful Dead was to like Deadhead dads back.
Yeah.
Dad only comes around about every 6 months when Fish is on tour and he's clubbing.
Yeah.
No, actually, so if I could, like, if it's a total down on Fish, but like the
that's kind of a theme over here. So it's all right.
on the like bad dance moves, like stereotypical bad dad rock, that's where Fish is. But like that brand of dad rock is also something like, to me, as soon as you turn it on, it's not like other dad rock songs. You're like, oh, okay, haven't heard that in a while. But this one's like, oh, what the fuck is this?
I live for the Fish ire in this group. That's fantastic. Yes.
Bouncing around the room. Sounds like camp counselors.
It is camp counselors.
I got a gig once with a jam band because I was playing in a cover band, and these guys came in, Sean and Andy and the Pit and Zim Fisherman and the Pharmacy. They came in and they had this band. I knew they wanted a drummer. I knew they needed a drummer. And I was like, I want to connect with this band. They're original. They play prog, jam bandy shit. I played the groove to Bouncing Around the Room, and I got the audition that night. Like Sean was like, dude, were you just playing Bouncing Around the Room? And I was like, yeah, bro. And he's like, man, can you be at Andy's house next week? I was like, yeah. Know your audience.
Which is funny.
See if that works with Lady Gaga.
Right, which is funny because that groove fucking sucks. Yeah, but it's slow and really boring and like horrendously white.
The whitest soca that's ever been recorded. It's so white.
That's fun. I mean, daggone. I mean, yeah, Metallica. That's dad rock, big time.
Oh God, Metallica was dad rock when I was a kid. Essentially, I mean, they came
It was getting there. It was getting by the time I was in high school. Definitely.
Well, prime example is that mashup that just came out that was Enter Sandman and Hip to Be Square. And
oh my God, that's brilliant. We'll make sure we link that in the bio. That particular.
I mean, but it's
like I feel like Huey Lewis himself is an architect of dad rock.
Yo, yeah, that dude. Yeah, that guy's creating pyramids.
Yeah.
It's like with Metallica. I mean, I remember even when we were kids, there'd be a lot of dudes that would walk around the school. You know, some girls too, but there'd be, you know, mostly, you know, like the stoner dude that was like really cool. Would be walking around with like a Master of Puppets t-shirt or an Injustice for All t-shirt or something like that. And, you know, that was always like the hookup. But I don't know if that, like, is that kid still around? I don't know. Does the high school still have that kid? Like the dude that walks around in the Metallica t-shirt?
The Manson shirt.
Yeah.
Misfits.
Well, but it's like Metallica was old by that time. Yeah, and maybe a band like Misfits. You know, Metallica was an older band even by the time like I was in high school. But now I don't know if they probably do. I don't know if like there's still that teenager dude that walks around with a Metallica shirt. So it's like they've sort of ascended into an even greater height of dad rockdom. Like nobody at the school would be walking around in like a Stick shirt. You know?
Right.
Mr. Roboto again.
Now they've hit the temporal cutoff to be sectioned off in the back with the rest of the Uber dad rock.
Oh yeah. Well, I can say this. I can always tell because you know I'm a drum teacher, and I can always tell what my kids' parents are into and what they have gotten their kids into, because I will have a kid still show up with a metal up your ass t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like, which is the original Pusshead Metallica t-shirt. And it's very dad to actually know Metallica's artist Pusshead that made all of those iconic black t-shirts. So it's still around. What it really turns into now, because of, if you're a big metal fan now, you know that style's virtuosity has just went off the charts. What Lars Ulrich has become is the AC/DC of metal. Like, if you want to eventually,
he's not that good.
Well, no, my point is, if you eventually want to get to Danny Carey, Meshuggah,
oh no, I know what you mean.
Start out with trying to play one. Like, if you can do one, then you've got your double bass sextuplets well enough that you can eventually play heavier duty, technical heavy metal. So that's what Metallica's turned into.
My favorite thing about Lars is just watching Lars freak out videos.
I've made so much money ripping Lars Ulrich. I've made $1,000 ripping on Lars Ulrich on this channel.
I like it when he has cameos in movies. Those are always fun.
Wait, what?
Have you not seen that?
No. What movies he been in?
I think it was that Russell Brand movie. Get him to the Greek. Yeah. His ex-wife was hooking up with Lars, and they were,
I remember that.
Okay,
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, and he's but there were a couple of really good like one-liners, but I'll have to watch it later and refresh my memory. But like Russell Brand's character is like, it's like Enter Sandman, like, just like
man, you know who was amazing in that movie? P. Diddy was great in that movie.
Oh yeah,
when they're all fucked up on the drugs, he's like, I'm gonna cover my whole house in this material. When they're like,
why is every wall not a furry wall?
So it's probably time for the clipboard. J. Cav, what have you got for us on the clipboard?
So the clipboard, the biggest thing on the clipboard that I have this week is kind of a cynical take on dad rock. I figured that we were going to be really lighthearted and joking and kidding around about it. So I thought I would bring some just morose ass shit to the party to balance things out a little bit, because we all know that balance leads to longevity. So I came across a guy, an article and some thinking online. Guys talking about, and we're just going to use this in sort of a vacuum. He's talking about U2. So I think we can all agree that U2 is fucking dad rock.
Yeah.
And so he has an interesting take, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. Again, so this is not my cynicism. This is internet strangers' cynicism that we are now going to either agree with or more likely systematically completely debunk. He posits that this fundamentally dad rock is when a rock band whose audience is mostly male stops challenging that audience and starts cultivating them, starts maintaining them instead.
So that means Weezer is definitely dad rock.
Oh God, Weezer's been dad rock since after Pinkerton.
Well, now that's a perfect definition. That kind of like gives me new perspective.
That's that's pretty much a perfect.
But I like this quote here. Or as even if they release new work, you know, they put new stuff out, but they're not challenging, they're maintaining anymore. Which, or as Bono himself might have put it in The Bridge to Vertigo, just give me what I want and no one gets hurt.
Which
he
means
also said 1, 2, 3, 14 in that song.
But by that definition,
14.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't understand Spanish.
Yeah. That by that definition, that means that Radiohead could never be dad rock, because Radiohead keeps pushing, right? Am I wrong?
That's the thing. I think maybe like that's the only problem I have with that definition. I think, Steve, is what you're talking about. It's too narrow, and I don't know if you could like. I get the thing like with the cultivating. I don't even know if it's like purposeful, and they had that addendum on the end of it. You know, like where maybe they'll keep making new music, but now they're just also trying to maintain a fan base. But then it's like it's also not necessarily on purpose. It just sort of happens that way, and I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
Is YouTube not doing it on purpose? Are they attempting to innovate? Because like, I mean,
they have the world to save. They have to stay famous. The world needs saved, and that's what Bono's doing.
That's another thing here. The worst thing that can be said. There's actually nothing wrong with producing a reliable, creative content that your fan base will continue to purchase. That pays mortgages and buys pizza parties for your kids. And yeah, that's right, man.
I definitely agree with it. I would just like I'd make it a little bigger and a little.
Oh no, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Would you ever want to tell the woman that you loved, or male that you loved, or whoever you want to love? Do you ever want to be like, I love you because you're reliable? It's not very romantic. It's not very, it's not really moving.
It doesn't have that spark.
It's not spark. Yeah, it's like something that it's what Hank Hill said about Peggy.
It's something you include in a list of things.
Right. That's not the only reason.
That's the number one.
Being reliable isn't bad. Being reliable is pretty good.
It's definitely not what you lead off with.
No.
Hey, honey, do you think I look pretty? You're reliable as hell.
Yeah.
Solid. You're solid, baby.
Yeah. I can set a clock to you.
Honey, you look prettier than a new set of snow tires.
I can set a clock to you. Yeah. Oh my God. We just talked about Hank Hill's. That's Hank Hill's whole love life right there.
Oh yeah.
That
was so confident
Peggy
when he
sucks,
said it,
man.
Peggy sucks.
She sucks. She's the worst.
She does suck.
That's interesting, but like what I like about that is like you can now use that to delete those off of dad rock lists, because again, Radiohead has never stopped innovating. Every record is complete, although.
But then if dads listen to it, then is it dad rock?
See, there you go.
But then what if dads listen to it just in general? Is that and it's rock or whatever? Does that automatically make it dad rock, or does it have to be?
No, well, see, that's why I think the definition is important, because anybody there are dads out there that listen to Miles Davis exclusively. Does that make Miles Smiles dad rock? No,
I don't know. I think it's hard to define it as any one thing, though. It's always subjective.
Right.
I mean, most things are subjective. It's hard to put any one quantifiable definition on it and be like, this is what it is, and that's the way it is.
And that's why I kind of have like that second tier of like the comical definition, like the stuff that's just like, oh, the hell, like why was this a thing? That kind of thing. And yeah.
Man, we ought to go through some of these lists.
Yeah.
What kind of list? What we got here? Oh man, here's
article.
something I would posit. Is the very first Chicago Transit Authority is not dad rock.
No,
and then Chicago
but
is.
But
Peter Cetera, Chicago
is dad rock. Peter Cetera is dad rock. Chicago Transit Authority is not dad rock,
but
even though dads obviously listen to it.
And I think Chicago is one of those bands where it's like more moms were way into it. And some dads listen to it, whereas like a band like the Eagles, like a lot of moms listen to it, and not as many dads would listen to the Eagles.
Well,
but like Chicago had a little more crossover appeal than like the Eagles did.
When Chicago switched away from that transit authority format and went into the more radio mom kind of stuff that, like they had all those big mom hits,
Yep.
Saturday in the Park, which I love that song.
But C24 or 624 is not.
Is
the
dad song. That's what
do you think that's the dad rock? That's the dad song?
Well, no, I think like where it was mostly mom rock, like the softer stuff, and then you hear 25 or 64 and like and the dad's like, that guitar solo is badass,
Oh, it's one of the great guitar solos nobody ever talks about.
Yeah,
is that still Terry Katz?
It was the guy, the one that died.
Terry Katz.
Katz.
Yeah. I lived with dude. I lived with a cat who's the guy, actually my Zappa mentor. And when we do the Zappa episode, I hope that he's well enough to come on. And he's from fucking Chicago. He's from fucking South Side. And man, Chicago, you can't talk shit to a Chicagoan. Like even the Peter Cetera shit in the 80s, they ain't having it.
Share.
No, they ain't having it, dude.
I think that Peter Cetera's voice and the production of his voice is actually right up there with the notoriety and recognizability, is that a word, of it, like Jeff Lynne. Because as soon as you hear Jeff Lynne, you know who that is.
Yeah, but Jeff Lynne's way cooler.
He is way cooler, but when you hear Cetera too, you're like, that's that fucking guy.
Where when
you
hear
my mom likes to cry to.
But when you hear Jeff Lynne, you're like, oh, fucking Electric Light Orchestra. This is sweet.
I'm gonna hear Sweet Talking Woman today.
I forgot how good Jimmy.
I am the man who will fight for you.
Oh, what was the movie that was from? What was that terrible movie? That's from a movie, isn't it? I think it is.
I mean, it's definitely been. I don't know if it was written for, but it's definitely
probably
been
in a John Hughes film.
Oh,
yeah. Something. Oh God, it feels like that already.
Yeah.
Is Jimmy the guy who has the lowest voice with the best falsetto?
That's always the case.
I can't believe that.
That's
How
always
does that
the
work?
case.
Well, you wind up having to practice it the most because you have to use it.
That's funny.
No. Every deep bass I know is the falsetto countertenor singer in the band.
What?
Yep.
That's so counterintuitive.
Well, there's not much call for low voices.
Jimmy's normal speaking voice is out of my range. Like,
I can't even get there. I remember making a recording at John's house, and we like let Jimmy finally sing like a bass part, and like it was like a kind of like a gospel bass part, and I was like, and in the band that we always talk about, you always sang that high part till John showed up, and I was like,
no, he still sang it after I showed up.
Okay. I was like, I forgot that Jimmy was like a fantastic gospel bass singer because I've only heard him sing falsetto for so long in harmonies.
Well, there's just not a lot of call for gospel bass singing outside of gospel bass singing.
And I have a problem with that. I think that's one of the cool, man. Jimmy was the one that turned me on to who's the guy.
Oh, JD Sumner.
Dude, I go down some hard JD Sumner black holes.
JD
and it's
Sumner
all your
and the
fault.
Stamps, man.
That
guy would
shit
blow
rules.
speakers out.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's so fucking. That's some of the coolest singing.
Still listens to that in the car.
Oh,
For
yeah.
real, she has like stamped CDs.
I converted them to CD for her.
Yes.
But like, yeah, she had it all on vinyl. I spent like a winter one year, like just converting all this stuff.
Elvis's favorite gospel band. That's why he took him on the road to be his backup singers.
Yep. So was the Oak Ridge Boys guy? Was he the guy that replaced him? Was he the replacement after JD died?
I don't know who replaced JD after that because JD went on the Gaither thing for a long time. He was on the Gaither show, and then it was always like him and that guy from the Cathedrals that I could never remember. Those were always like the two main basses. Like the short guy that was the big bass singer for the Cathedrals. And they were always like the two lowest basses, but then JD could go like another octave lower.
It's the best. It's so cool.
It was like
He just like do the big drop.
having grown up in an old regular Baptist setting that's like against instrumental stuff. That was like the only time when I was a kid I'd be riding around with my mom's mom, my grandmother. And that was like my first exposure to like instrumental, like riffing. It was like when that dude's showing off his range. You know?
That was your first improv
That
hearing?
was cool. Yeah. And
Dude, I'm all about it.
Man, when gospel tenors show off, it's always, and I don't know how we got here from Dad Rock, but it's like when gospel tenors show off, it's always so loud and piercing. And it's just like it annihilates your head. And they always say like, and it's real, a lot of vibrato and bass singers.
Vibrato of a ninth.
Bass singers always just like sing real straight, no vibrato, and then they go real low, a lot of scoops.
The one that I think of is the high tenor harmony on "Take Your Shoes Off, Moses" with Keith Whitley singing. Yeah. Dude, Keith Whitley's right there in the middle. It's just a smooth, silky, and then Ralph comes in and it's louder than all other three parts. That's all you hear.
That was the old Bill Monroe thing too. It's like Bill Monroe, like he in a lot of those songs, he would duck out of the main harmony, like an Uncle Pen. He wasn't singing the harmony part, or I'm sorry, he's not singing the melody in the chorus. It's like Jimmy Martin singing the melody, but you're hearing Bill Monroe because Bill Monroe, he's still asserting himself. He's like, it says Bill Monroe in the Bluegrass Boys, not Jimmy Martin in the Bluegrass Boys. So I'm going to sing real loud.
Even if I'm singing the high harmony.
Yeah.
Well, one more thing, like a high tenor that I always like was like nails on a chalkboard to me, and it's a Dad Rock song for sure. Is the female high tenor sounds like an old gospel lady named Janet or something.
From the Happy
and
Good
Norman
Ones.
Greenbaum song "Spirit in the Sky." Spirit in the sky.
Oh yeah.
Spirit in the sky. It's like, oh,
it's so piercing.
What's his name? Norman Greenbaum.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great guitar tone in that.
Oh yeah.
It's like a crunchy Fender or something.
It's like proto fuzz.
Yeah. That's a great guitar tone.
So Jimmy, give us some treats from this playlist that you found.
So on Apple Music, there's a playlist with a wonderful facade on it of it's like a printing of looks like probably Freddie Mercury.
It's Freddie Mercury with
David Bowie with the Ziggy Stardust thing on it. But the first some of the bands that come up. And here's for Steve. The first three, let's say.
Oh, no.
Death Cab for Cutie.
Yep.
Radiohead, Karma Police. And then David Bowie, Space Oddity.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking about David Bowie when John gave that definition. David Bowie never cultivated. Even the last record, Black Star.
That's the thing. But then a lot of people's dads would still listen to Bowie.
And is there some element of just magnetism to that? Can you cultivate or can you maintain while still innovating just due to the magnitude of your magnetism?
Well, man, if anybody did that, it would be David Bowie.
Well, and then also somebody like Bowie who keeps innovating, it's also like how many of his fans would be buying the new records. It could be like, well, no, I like Ziggy Stardust Bowie, or
I like Thin White Duke.
Yeah, I like Thin White Duke Bowie. They like their era of Bowie, and then after it gets to a certain point, they're like, I don't really want to listen to that anymore. I don't understand it. It got weird.
Well, I mean, I know Radiohead fans that don't like them when they actually play guitars and bass.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I know Radio, and I love almost everything that Radiohead's ever done. But I know people that's like, bands, they're just guitar rock, whatever. I think, OK Computer, they, recreated music as we know it.
Then we got Tame Impala. After that,
I heard that, Steve.
Tame Impala?
Yeah, Tame Impala. Then Spoon. Then Bruce Springsteen, Glory Days.
I mean,
yeah. Of course.
Oh, dude, that's the dad. That's the dad that played in the state championship.
Oh yeah,
playing that shit.
Oh yeah, he's telling you about that 210-yard game he threw.
Yep.
And then
the mountains.
Yeah, throw it over to my. Here, go back, go long. Wilco, heavy metal drummer.
Yeah.
My Morning Jacket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Eagles,
Hotel California.
Yeah.
But man, I go with Jimmy though. Eagles is a little more mommy.
It's a little more mom band.
And Hotel California is prime mom Eagles. That is not even getting back over into dad Eagles, like the harder stuff. Get over it, and the the stuff that drives a little more, that has a little more of that.
Life in
Hell
the
yeah,
Fast
man,
Lane.
that's badass.
Life in the Fast Lane.
Life in the Fast Lane. Yep.
Yeah.
Bee Gees, How Deep Is Your Love? That's
Mom.
That's a mom.
That's mom.
I agree.
Mom.
The Flaming
Or a
Lips. Do you
dad that's
realize?
trying to like.
Oh, that makes me feel old. Oh my
Trying to get mom
god.
late. He's trying to wait till the kids are out of the house so he can get some of that action.
Man, I just listened to Soft Bulletin the other day. It's a fucking perfect record. The Flaming Lips are so good, but I don't think that they're dad rock.
They will be. That's the thing.
They will be. Yeah, I guess they will be.
The War on Drugs, Red Eyes. That's a great album. That first War on Drugs. Well, I don't know if it was the first War on Drugs record, but that one was real big for a minute. Tom Petty, definitely.
Oh yeah, but man, like but here's the thing about Tom Petty. Tom Petty is like everybody rock. Uncle, aunt, dad, mom, cousin. Tom Petty is just more than that. He's bigger than that.
REM, Pretty Persuasion.
Let me talk about the next one, Jimmy.
I feel like
one
REM is right on the cusp of the time cutoff to where doesn't matter what you think. Nope, sorry, old enough to be dad rock.
I think they're definitely dad rock at this point. There's so many dads that are like a little bit older, or that are a fair bit older than me, that have like kids in middle school or high school, and they grew up listening to REM.
They're the ones that say, like, look, Out of Time is the one that everyone knows, but we all know that Green is the best.
I remember when he had hair. Okay.
Like, I remember when the B-52s were opening, they were much better before they sold out with Out of Time.
Okay,
They do Devil in My Car and songs like that.
Really quick sidebar, but this is because I'm a true moron. But like every time I see REM, and hell, they were a Concord band whenever I worked there.
What?
Yeah, their catalog got purchased by Concord. So
okay.
Like a bunch of re-releases around, but every time I fucking see the name or read it, I think back to this episode of Full House where Uncle Jesse has his club, and was it Uncle Joey the funny one?
Yeah,
yes.
He was the one that had the chipmunk puppet.
Yeah. Dave
Cut it out.
He was like, "Oh, I got REM to come play your club tonight." And he was like, "Oh my god!" And he gets there, it's like, "No," and it's like three old ladies standing there. It's like, "No, this is REM. Rita, Ethel, and Martha." Fucking think about that every.
And that is a dad joke.
That is
That is
a
a dad joke.
Every time I even saw it on my screen, I was like, "I'm stupid." Like, I think about that.
Certain things trigger certain memories.
Hey, why can't a bicycle stand on its own? Because it's too tired.
Oh, fuck off. and viewers at home, Jimmy can do this for hours.
Oh, yeah. Paul McCartney and Wings.
Oh, man.
So with this one,
Band on the Run.
Band on the Run is a great fucking song, which I know that it's dad rock, but for a playlist like this, I would play up like the embarrassing side and put some silly love songs on
the
there.
not good parts of Wings.
Silly Love Song is a terrible song.
Yeah.
And then the Strokes. Yeah, they're going to be a dad rock band.
Wow, and dude, the Strokes are the only band that we've mentioned that will be super pissed off to be called dad rock. Those guys will be like, we cultivated this image of the coolest thing in New York City ever, and we will never be called dad rock.
There's definitely never been anything cool to come out of New York City.
You definitely just said it, Steve. They cultivated.
Man, I'm telling you that record, 80s Come Down Machine, when Julian had just spent a summer hanging out with Daft Punk, and it's basically like an 80s new wave record, and the critics hated it. They did try to do something different. They got buried, and then the last record, or the record right after that, sounded exactly like "Is This It?"
There's never been a band that wore tailored suits playing electric guitars.
Fran Lebowitz likes this band, Jimmy. Like Fran Lebowitz likes them. She's from New York. She knows what's cool. That's not dad rock.
Yeah, if she's from New York, then I believe her. Never mind. Beautiful Day, you too.
Oh yeah.
And Better Man, Pearl Jam. Yeah, that's like.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm a little surprised. that Isbell is on this list.
No, Jason Isbell can't.
Yeah,
no,
he's not dad rock.
Not yet.
Drive-by Truckers, maybe, but not.
Drive-by Truckers, definitely.
But not.
If you have any kind of Allman Brothers influence or anything like that, and you're in that scene, you've been followed by 65-year-old males.
So Blackberry Smoke. So Blackberry Smoke for sure, right?
Definitely. Of course.
Shout out to Charlie Starr.
Of course.
But here's the thing, though. Unlike the Strokes, who would fucking like start self-harming if they were known as dad rock, Blackberry Smoke would be like, "Come on in, fellas, let's go."
Oh, they'd lean into it hard.
Come on, Dad.
No, if you're a dad rock band,
dads.
exactly. If you're and this is the thing, like, and I don't want anyone to be confused thinking if you're dad rock, you're bad. No, not at all. If you're a dad rock band, you've stood the test of time long enough for dads to remember you and want to keep listening to you.
If you're a dad rock band, you're paying your bills.
Yeah, these are like some of the greatest bands of all time. We're just pointing it out.
Yeah.
Is Little River on that? Is Little River on that list?
Well, there's some interesting ones actually. Well, The Clash, White Stripes, Foo Fighters, definitely on all those.
Yeah.
Definitely at this point.
Dawes is on here. I'd say they fall in. Yeah,
definitely. Like Bon Iver, and that's kind of a newer one. Ooh. I don't even know if I'd really classify him as rock necessarily.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't like him, but the one thing I do like that he's done, like, because he just like writes shitty songs that he sings really good. Like, they're well sang shitty songs, but the one thing that Bon Iver, because that's how it's supposed to be said, right?
Bon Iver,
because it's French for something. Bring Chelsea in here and she'll fucking tell us how to say it. His version of "I Can't Make You Love Me" by Bonnie Raitt is it's marvelous. It's so good, and I saw that and I was like, fuck, man, this guy's amazing. And then I watched like something I'm in on the festival, and it's like these bleep bloop Animal Collective bullshit pop songs. Like, oh, this is terrible.
I was gonna skip over some of these and maybe kind of hit the high note, like Eric Clapton, definitely. The Police, definitely.
But man, Clapton's a lot of mom though. Clapton's very mom.
Definitely, there's a lot of mom in Clapton. It's kind of a general crossover, like.
I would think he's more mom, though. I think he's more mom.
In some ways, I think he's one of those that like he'll catch a dad. Like you know, like you could, you can get like a modern Clapton song, and you'll be like, "If I could change the world," and then like the dad will be turning it up and singing way out of tune. I'd be a sunshine in the universe.
That's a terrible song.
But
that's fucking awful.
Wonderful Nathan East bass line.
Yeah. Proof that a good bass line can't save a shitty song.
Stones, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
New Pornographers, definitely. Pavement. Yeah. Drive-by Truckers. Yeah.
Really? New Pornographers?
Oh, yeah. At this point.
Are they big enough to be dad rock, though?
No, but they're old enough.
Yeah,
Well, I mean that means LCD Sound System is dad rock too.
it probably is.
Probably is.
Band of Horses, Elvis Costello, Bruce.
Oh
Springsteen
yeah.
again.
Oh wait, stop for a second. Hold on. It's time
Oh,
for Slate Dump to give you their dad rock hit of the day. And he just said it. This is an Elvis Costello song that I'm going to sing. At the recording of this, we're not sure who's going to be playing what. I know that I'm going to be singing it. I'm pretty sure John's going to play drums because I just want to deal with singing it. And this is the most dad explanation of a song. This is a song called Cheap Rewards. And it's an unreleased cut. It is on the extended version of My Aim Is True. It is it was originally only in demo form. We hope to build upon it. We'll find out because we haven't recorded it yet.
We'll make a more complicated, shittier demo.
Yeah, for sure.
it's kind of like he almost meant it to be a country song.
Oh man, it really feels like it.
It does. It definitely does. And it might end up sounding like a bluegrass song by the time we're done with it. Yeah. But I think that works. That because when we were talking about dad, I was like, man, Elvis Costello is dad. It's British dad rock. Like if you go to a British dad's house, his party record is My Aim Is True, and you're going to hear Oliver's Army, and they're going to dance bad. They're going to dance badly to Oliver's Army is Here to Stay. You know what I mean? So this is our homage to, in my opinion, one of the greatest songwriters of the last 40 years. I'm a huge Elvis Costello fan. That's why I have these specs. And this is Slate Dump, the greatest band who never was. And this is our version of Cheap Rewards. We hope you enjoy it.
Oh, well, I feel so loose tonight, I might fall to pieces. So be prepared to sweep me out the door. And I might be horizontal by the time the music ceases. So I guess I'll get acquainted with the floor. Oh, I was trying to get away from those things I always do. Hello, floorboards, once again, how are you? Lip service, that's all you'll ever get from me. How could you believe I would take you seriously? With your cheap rewards, your blackmail, and your common rage. Just remember you'll only be the boss so long as you pay my wage. All the signposts on this road, they point one way. Don't act like you're above me, just look at your shoes. I'll turn the light out now, cause there's nothing more to say. And it's all been lost before, so there's nothing to lose. Oh, you could say that you love me very painlessly. I would have done the same for you, but you said to me, lip service, that's all you'll ever get from me. How could you believe I would take you seriously? With your cheap rewards, your blackmail, and your common rage. Just remember you'll only be the boss so long as you pay my wage. Just remember you'll only be the boss so long as you pay my wage.
What's more dad than recording a track that was never released? Because your dad is that dude to be like, oh yeah, you may know the record, but if you get the extended cuts, these are the things that should have been on that record. So we're going to listen to those now. So that's doing cheap rewards is as dad rock as you can get.
Dads, the ultimate hipsters.
Yep.
The only thing more dad I can think of is them staring at you with the hood going, that ain't the alternator right there. That ain't with the alternator. You don't know where the alternator is, boy. No, boy, no, there. No. Now, buddy, that's 13/16 you got. You need right there. You don't even know what you're talking about. Get out of here. Go help your mother.
Go mow the lawn.
Yeah.
Or a real good instant classic that my dad said, I think Jimmy was there for. I told Dad, I was like, I smell gas outside my car, like really strongly. Like I think there's a leak somewhere. And my dad's tired of hearing me complain about this car, and he's like, "Oh, what the hell do you think it runs on, son?"
Yeah.
Yes.
I know he listens to these now, so he's gonna get it.
They're like you're about to do something real dumb, and he's go ahead, do it that way. Go ahead. See what happens. You go ahead. You go do it that way.
While your mom's like, no, he'll get hurt. Yeah. He'll get hurt.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. If it kills him, won't do it again.
So what I wanted to touch on, and John talked about it earlier, is that John's dad, who's just one of the greatest human beings you've ever met, is also a trained classical singer. So your idea of like dad rock, I just figure because, your house has like Steinway full pianos, grand pianos in it. I figured that like your dad rock was just like arias and like German opera. Was that your dad rock?
Recitative.
No.
Sons of Levi.
So
John's dad is the only dad that has good melisma in this house.
So no. My dad rock, and you from knowing my dad, you'll believe this as soon as you hear it. It's Blood, Sweat, and Tears, man.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, man. 100% Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and Wes Montgomery and Ray Charles records. He was real big into that stuff. So I don't think Ray Charles is dad rock, but it is to me, or at least it used to be before I came of age and got drugs and sex and was like, oh, Ray Charles is good.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears is dad rock, but Earth, Wind, and Fire not dad rock.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't think so. I don't think Earth, Wind, and Fire can be dad rock.
Does Earth, Wind, and Fire have too much soul to be dad rock? Does dad rock have to be like white people's music?
I think I'm not trying to. Is definitely dad rock.
What is it?
I think September is definitely dad rock.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here we go. We'll take race out of it. Earth, Wind, and Fire is not dad rock, but it is yacht rock.
Oh, it's definitely yacht rock.
There you go.
Yeah, and like you,
Gap Band is just cool.
Yeah, that is cool, man. That is fucking cool. Rubber Band.
Yeah.
You know what Dad does? Dad gets up early in the morning. Except lover. But that's the thing. That's the difference between, because Dad gets up early in the morning to put on his fresh white New Balances to cut grass. Gap Band gets up early in the morning to find another lover. That's the difference. That's the difference. So yeah, John, I figured that because your mom and dad are both trained classical singers, I just thought that you all were just always listening to The Ring.
Well, I mean, we were
the Ring
always,
cycle like all the time.
Das Lied von der Erde. All that. No, absolutely no. I grew up on tons and tons of, but it's not like dude, I grew up on fucking art songs and chamber music. But but it's not the good stuff. It's what fucking arts. It's what artsy singers think is cool, and it's never ever cool. But the funny thing is that like aside from that, they both were younger at a point in their lives before me. I got Blood, Sweat, and Tears and Ray Charles and Wes Montgomery from Dad, and I got James Taylor and the Eagles from Mom. So when we do the Mom Rock episode,
oh god, it's Mom.
There it is. Yeah,
that's and dude. I mean, let's be honest. Like, if we're going to say that, like, if Wilco is the Dad Rock Kings or if Rush is the Dad Rock Kings, that title can be debated, but there is no debate.
It's the Eagles.
No. You're wrong. It's Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac is the number one mom rock. Dude, how many moms want to be Stevie Nicks Are you fucking kidding me? Like
All of
every mom, all of them. They all think that Stevie, dude, every time I think of Stevie Nicks, South Park ruined her. I just think of the,
I don't know. Have you seen her sing much recently? I think she kind of took care of that.
Ooh, is it like that? Is it like
man,
that?
dude, they were taking the last video I saw from like 2008. They were taking "Stop Dragging My Heart Around" down a third.
Ooh. Oh no.
She did New Year's here like last year.
Yeah,
I think with Keith Urban.
Keith Urban.
Yeah, y'all, I remember that. It was good.
Yeah.
It was fucking awful.
Yeah.
I don't think they had her ears turned on, man. She couldn't hear anything.
Ow, goodness. Every mom wants to have flowing gowns and to spin around at midnight.
Be backlit with her hair all feathered.
Yeah.
There's one artist that we cannot leave out here, but he's like a whole other thing. He's most definitely dad rock.
Gina Vanelli.
No. Well, yeah, he probably is.
Run, Steve, run.
Oh, shit.
Adam, you killed him.
Oh,
Jimmy,
no,
Jimmy, you killed him.
Oh, I'm about to spit that all over my house. Oh, God. Oh,
that's what she said?
Well,
I'm talking about Jimmy Buffett.
Oh,
Parrot heads.
No, dude.
How have we not clowned on parrot heads yet?
My wife's parents were huge parrot heads.
Oh, God. Now, that is the king of cultivation.
Oh, yeah.
He's the master of that shit.
Dude, and his guitar player is Mac McAnally.
Yeah.
One of the baddest writers and players around.
I don't know who that is. You got me on that.
You should.
Okay.
His last name looks like McAnally, so
it does look like McAnally.
But he's a
McAnally.
very sweet guy. I shouldn't talk.
Yeah.
But,
man, phenomenal musician, phenomenal writer. He's written so many like big hits.
But Jimmy, weren't you?
Are you going to make him tell that story?
Well,
he has to live with her.
He needs to tell any story he can. But I was.
I'm scared of her. I'm not going to have him tell that story.
I played that. It was like a pre-show party with Pam out in front of Bridgestone for the Jimmy Buffett show. Were you there for that?
Probably.
Yeah.
Once we get further in, I'll know.
They had like kiddie pools out front. And,
oh yeah.
But we were out there playing like.
Was it filled with margarita mix?
Now that I could.
Margarita pool.
You gotta eat the whole jalapeno. Like, okay. Weirdo.
I don't know. I don't know.
Last Man on Earth. He has like a margarita filled pool each day. Just sitting there like. But anyway, that was like my first run-in with a large gathering of parrot heads, and I just wanted to walk out in front of a bus. Like it was,
and all they wanted to do was chill, Adam. They just want to chill with you.
I know.
They just wanted to hang out, wear their flamingo hats.
And I love
easy.
playing to a receptive crowd, but these people were just I'm sorry. I was just like,
dude, that pirate looks at 40 will bring a tear to your eye.
Dude, well, I got a story about that. I took my wife to
That's what I was talking about earlier. I was afraid. She watches this, I'm sure, right?
Well, I took my wife to a thing where the private musical entertainment was like the big peak of it was Jimmy Buffett, right? And we're sitting at this like front row table with some of our friends and stuff. And Jimmy Buffett is playing, and he starts doing A Pirate Looks at 40, which it's a great song. I'll give him that. It's a great song. So then I look over, and then and my wife has just got tears rolling down her face.
And did you make fun of your wife?
Everybody at the table did. Yeah. we were like, what's happening? The thing was like her parents were such big parrot heads that was such like a huge part of her life and a huge part of her growing up. And there she was, getting to see him like front row and, in a private setting where it's just him and the guitar.
She called her mom and dad and told them that she loved him right afterwards.
Oh, probably.
For sure.
I don't remember much of it, but but it was a great moment and a funny moment. One of those moments that you remember forever.
Man, my boss at one of the stores I teach at, it's Mike McCord. He gets irate with parrot head hate. He ain't having it because he has been He was a Buffett fan before Parrot Head became a thing. Because when, man, it's easy to rip on Jimmy Buffett. They're like Kiss. They're just asking for it. It's easy to rip on that band. And we're going to get into Kiss for a second.
Steel drums. Come on.
And, Jimmy.
Vacation music. I call it vacation music.
Jimmy talks about that song being a great song. I love the song Come Monday. That's a
it's a great song.
Man,
now, I mean, if she was crying at Cheeseburger in Paradise, I would be worried. If she was crying at A Pirate Looks at 40. That's fine. That's the whole point. He's looking back on it.
Do you need to go to the hospital?
Yeah. Do you need a cheeseburger?
Dude, my boss ain't having it. I've seen him he never gets upset. He's pretty a stoic cat. But I think me and Parker was probably ripping on Parrot Heads. Because we like played a festival and whoever was running the music in between every band, it was just Jimmy Buffett the whole time. It was like a come down. Like you'd see it was the festival I saw the Flying Frog Brigade at. So we saw the Flying Frog Brigade and that's a teaser because next week we're going to be talking about the band that sucks the most. Promise sucks. Promise sucks. And this podcast sucks. But it was like we just watched, less and then Volcano came on and I was like, what the fuck? Come on, man. You got to keep the vibe going, DJ. And dude, Mike took his glasses off and he was like, look, that man cultivated a fan base by himself going to college towns with an acoustic guitar and he worked his way. I was like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. My bad, Mike.
I didn't mean to piss in your cereal, dude.
My in-laws were like those people. They would go to the early shows and they would talk about seeing Jimmy Buffett. They walked into the bar and they would go see him when he was still doing the bar shows, back in the day in the early mid 70s. Mm-hmm. And he would be wearing a lobster suit or something and just drunk out of his mind, just laying at the end of a bar, passed out, and then would get up and just give a crazy fucking badass show, sing every note in tune and it'd be perfect. And then just get up and go back to partying.
It was 5 o'clock somewhere, even then.
That's right.
They're back about 10 years ago when me and Jimmy and his lovely wife shared a home.
We're sorry, Chelsea.
Yeah, I know. There was a time when I actually did a lot of work for the Margaritaville brand, the website side of it all.
Margarita Machine.
And, or not just that, it was the coconut shrimp and the resorts and all that stuff.
Coconut shrimp ain't bad.
Oh, the coconut shrimp was good as hell. That was the only good thing about that show.
I'm allergic to shrimp. I've never got to eat them.
Oh, that sucks, man. You're missing out on a lot of happiness.
I know, man. The one time I ate it, I fucking ended up in the hospital.
Is it all shellfish, lobster? Crab?
Oh, dude, don't get me started. I love seafood. I was on a prom date and we went to the hibachi and dude threw some shit in my mouth and I was like, I'll eat it. And then later on, and here was.
That's definitely what she said.
Yeah. And what really helped me was the girl that I was on a prom date with. Her dad was a doctor and they were the cool family. He was the dad rock guy. And if you wanted to go party, you went to Dr. House. Right. So my throat's swelling up and I've never felt this. I'm 16, which is, how fucking hillbilly I am. The first time I ate shrimp was 16 or 17 and my shit's swelling up and I go to Dr. And I'm like, hey man, my shit's swollen up. And he's like, wait, y'all went to hibachi, right? And I was like, yep. And he goes, have you ever eaten shrimp before? I was like, nope. He's like, get in the car. We have to go to my office. So I had to get EpiPenned on my prom night because I ate shrimp for the first time.
That sucks, man. I ain't even allergic to poison ivy.
Really? Are you allergic to poison oak?
No, I can grab it with my bare hand.
Oh God, man! Every time I go to cut weeds, I get that shit, man.
Sorry, all the guys on my dad's side of the family are like that. They would just grab it barehanded and just throw it. It doesn't bother us at all.
Oh man, I'm gonna call you next time I have to cut fucking weeds.
Sorry,
we interrupted Adam's story.
Oh no,
yeah.
All I was just gonna say was we had a select few phone calls with him, and he was a very, very sweet guy, super accommodating and understanding. And
did he have flip flops on?
We only did audio conference calls.
He had flip flops on. Yeah.
He probably had flip flops on, but he every time I heard his voice or did the work for that brand, I can never think of anything else but the South Park episode where Randy Marsh buys the Margaritaville machine. He's like, peace, love, and margaritas, yay! Like talking about being frugal, and it's like we only need food and margaritas.
No, I've only met Jimmy Buffett one time, and it was at that same thing, and he was a very, very, very nice man.
Did he smell like sea salt?
No, it was a little,
Coconut oil.
maybe a little bay rum.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
there
definitely
we go.
smelled like rub for sure.
Like bay rum, but like I wear bay rum. I'm a Papal man. I like bay rum and Old Spice. Makes you smell-
Brute.
Now there's a big ticket here on the clipboard that we have not discussed, and that would be
oh Jesus.
Yes, he should.
Oh no! Oh no! The band that thinks women love them, but they don't. It's dudes.
Yeah.
If you're not watching at the house and you're actually on the podcast, and for everyone who's starting to download us on the podcast, thank you very much, because our numbers are actually improving per capita, if you will, but they are improving.
I think it's because I've clicked on it a few times.
Oh shit! Quit doing that.
It's all the guys that drive around in Lamborghinis thinking they're going to get chicks, but it's just like dudes that want to come up and look at your Lamborghini. And Ric Flair knew all along, you want to get girls, you got to have a 4-door Cadillac.
We're talking about, of course, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Peter Criss, and Ace Frehley, Kiss, the ultimate dad band, which now that we bring them up, Rolling Stone is wrong again. Wilco is not the king of dad rock. It's Kiss.
Not yet.
It's
Maybe in a decade or so. But
I was going to say right now, Wilco is the like teenage son of dad rock.
Even then, like Wilco couldn't compete with Kiss. Like the success that Kiss achieved commercially is just so much more vast.
And actually, Wilco's biggest song is about going to see a Kiss concert.
Exactly.
But also, call me when Wilco has had 2 farewell tours and they're still going.
Just 2? I thought it was like 7. Is it only 2?
Wasn't it like they even talked about like just getting replacement players?
Yeah,
just
no.
in general, just like dressing them up. Or getting a little Kiss or something.
So just franchise to franchise the band?
Yeah, basically. They're basically already franchised, but like, you know.
Who is the guitar player right now? Who is it?
Tommy Thayer.
Tommy Thayer. He's
okay.
He's bad. He was there for
Animalize.
Animalize.
Wait, is Tommy Thayer not on Elder too? The Elder or whatever?
Oh, he might be. He was like the guitar tech or something at first. I think when he came in, he was like Ace Frehley's guitar tech or something like that.
With Vinnie Vincent.
Yeah, he worked with Vinnie Vincent, or he might have been Vinnie Vincent's guitar tech, is what it is. And then Vinnie left, and then Tommy knew all the parts, and as it turns out, is like a fucking monster player.
Yeah, he's a great player. I mean,
Eric Singer is the drummer right now, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, Adam, you are the Kiss fan in here. We all, I say
Jimmy
this.
and I both are.
Yeah, you both are. I say this. I liked Kiss when you're supposed to like Kiss, which is around about 15, 16.
So
but you all love them.
That was about when I really got into it, but I retain a soft spot. It's one of those bands I can go back and I can listen to and be like, most of these songs aren't very good, but the ones that stand out are, they're good rock and roll songs. Detroit Rock City is a good rock and roll song.
That's a fucking epic. And
Love Gun's a good rock and roll song.
And
Love Gun, he's talking about his dick.
And
Dr. Love.
I Like It Loud is one of the best arena songs ever.
Oh man. Yeah.
I love it loud.
Arenas full of dads.
It might be the most perfect arena rock song ever. Like as far as just like
it's right up there with Queen songs.
Oh,
are they not just one of the most anthem-y bands of all time? That's like their whole thing.
Yeah,
kind of. But like early on, there weren't a lot of anthems. Like the first record, like with Black Diamond and Stutter and stuff like that. It was more just kind of like straight ahead rock and roll. And
I guess I mean
maybe
overall
do a
legacy.
Kiss episode sometime. Man, we ought to do a Kiss episode where we all paint our faces like each.
Oh, for
fuck,
sure.
that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
But
like,
we got 3 bass players. Who gets Gene?
oh,
Oh, yeah, it's more like who isn't Peter Chris?
I don't want to be the cat man. Hell
oh man, I hate
neither.
cats too.
Steve, you're the drummer. Steve,
but
you're
wait,
the drummer.
wait, not every drummer was the cat though.
Wait, no, that's what you could be. Eric.
What was
Carr.
Eric Carr? Who was
the,
it? What was
the
he?
Egyptian.
I'll be the Egyptian. I'll put
There
the
we go.
onk on me.
There we
And
go.
Eric Carr, man, Eric Carr's a good drummer. And Eric Carr did I've seen as much as
R.I.P.
I've seen I've seen Kiss twice. I saw Kiss on the first reunion, and then I saw I saw him on the greatest hits. Let's put the X in sex tour. I saw him on that. So I saw him before they put the makeup back on.
That's so bad.
Yeah. So like Eric Singer played harmonica during his bass solo, and Paul Stanley came out and was like, so now that we know that Eric Singer can play harmonica. But yeah, like I'll go Eric Carr because man, Eric Carr did a fantastic job of singing Beth.
Yeah, but
If you're going to be the drummer, and
Singer's not
would he do
Kiss.
this? Would he do the thing where he would come out with the rose and start handing them out, like Peter Chris did? He'd always come out with Beth, and he'd kiss the rose and hand it out.
It's a Kiss show. Of course it did, man. Of course.
I'd
And all those girls that were there were fucking drugged there by their boyfriends or husbands.
Oh yeah.
Kiss is one of those bands where there's always like some random guy like we had at your local university. It was like, yeah, I remember when Kiss came here in 1978. I tuned the pianos at the Big Sandy Arena or whatever. I guess the Big Sandy Arena wasn't there, but in the field house. At the Memorial Field House, I tuned Kiss's pianos.
I've never seen flames shot that high inside a fucking building.
How them boys ain't just charbroiled, I'll never know.
Okay, so this is my story, and I know that Adam used to watch this too, the Gene Simmons reality show. What was it called?
Family Jewels.
Family Jewels. And like maybe
One of the better
rec-
ones.
It was back when
Yeah.
it was back during the salad days of reality shows.
Yeah.
And the record label was running a contest to get to meet Gene Simmons, and Gene Simmons spent like the whole week like holding that over his not wife's head. Was like, well, you know who's going to win this? It's going to be like a fucking playmate. It's going to be some sexy woman, and she's going to want to meet me. And the guy who won it was a big old fat dad. And like Gene Simmons like shows up, is like, well, let's go in here and let's go see this young lady. And it's just beer belly. Hey, oh my God, Gene Simmons. And then the whole gimmick was like Gene Simmons being like, wah, wah. I'm gonna hang out.
My Punisher bass has a coffin case. I love you, Gene.
Yes, exactly.
I just learned shout it out loud.
There's yeah, you could just tell Gene was like, oh shit, I forgot that these are my actual fans.
These are the guys that pay money to come see me.
These are the people who buy my casket because they have a casket. Kiss has a casket that you can purchase.
And Dimebag
Darrell's in a
Darrell.
Kiss casket.
Oh, did Dimebag get? Of course he did.
Dude, they
So-
were huge Kiss heads.
So Dimebag got buried in a Kiss casket with
Eddie Van Halen's
Eddie Van
guitar.
Halen's guitar.
And you know, this is really sad, but like the last phrase that Dimebag and Vinny said to each other before Dime passed was they looked at each other on stage, and they did this every night. They went, Van Halen.
Of course, man. Of course, dude. I was booked to play that place, the Via Rosa.
Oh God, I've driven. by
Yeah,
that place.
and I was like,
Oh.
well, they booked it without asking me, and I was just like, it's one of the few times I was like, I'm not going to play in there. I'm not doing, because that was really close to where we grew up, right? Like, was that Columbus?
Yeah. Just a few
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah, and I just and you know those cats didn't know anything about what I was talking about, and I was like, I'm not going to fucking play in that place. You can
I
shit
was
fall back in it.
Columbus the day or 2 days after that happened for something with my dad. He was having a surgery or something. And we drove by, and I just saw this massive heap of roses out front. I was like, "Oh my god, that's where!" Oh,
man,
is Pantera a dad band?
No, they're not, because they're
I
cooler
don't think so either.
They can't be. No, Pantera's cooler than that.
Too small a subset of dads.
Exactly, that too. Because it's the same reason that Megadeth isn't a dad band, but Metallica is a dad band.
Yeah. Megadeth fans are too niche.
It's too fuck you.
It is. It's too fuck you.
Pantera is too fuck you to be a dad band.
Goddamn right.
Can you truly ever hear Phil Anselmo and his ooh and you'd be like, what a dad band?
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. Dad bands aren't into I kill myself for you. I kill you for myself. That's not dad. No, dad is like Saturday.
But then how many dads are gonna play like Chop Suey for their kids?
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna put a little makeup. I could not believe, because now that I know that Adam is my brother of heavy in this group of friends, and I talked about System of a Down, and Adam's like, me. Big man. I was like, what? Adam, that's not how this script was supposed to go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I listened to them a lot in high school, and
I don't think they're great.
It's like I think like a lot of dudes listened to them in high school. They was always on like wrestling practice. System of a Down was always on.
You do a great search.
That was really good.
Sugar.
It was like
every once in a while you get this cool like mother, like that kind of shit. But
like wrestling practice was always like System of a Down, like Godsmack, and
I get you fired up. Godsmack is dad.
Yeah, Slipknot was
Slipknot's dad. Slipknot's dad at this point.
Mushroom Head.
Corn.
Mushroom's Head's not big enough.
They're not big enough. Corn and dude, I think Corn and Limp Bizkit, Kid Rock, those are dad rock bands. And the Kid Rock fan base is just way too big to not be a dad rock band.
It's too huge, man. I knew shit had changed when he did that goddamn song with was it Sheryl Crow?
Yeah.
I went back home, back to the coal fields.
I want to drink you away.
Oh man, dude!
God,
I went to the biker bar that my dad used to hang out with, and heard it like 5 times that night. And you would just see all these drunk coal miner dads just singing that shit to the highest heavens. And I was like, "Oh, Kid Rock has now become dad band."
Cocaine and whiskey.
Dad, you've never seen cocaine. Shut up. You're just saying that shit to be edgy in front of my girlfriend.
That's just Pixie Sticks. I was just messing with you.
I just messing with you.
Well, Kid Rock kind of looks. He the older he gets, the more he looks like Dr. Phil. He's totally dad rock.
Oh shit.
So to wrap it up, dad rock isn't a bad thing. We're not.
No.
We're
talking about Little River Band. In which case, Little River Band. I don't know what it is, and I'm basically speaking directly to my dad right now.
I've got a Little River Band record. I'm going to send down there.
It's the one with the swimming pool and the chick's legs on it, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's that one. It's the one everybody's mom had.
Yeah, and my brother took my dad's copy, and he's got it here. And
it's the greatest hits record, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the greatest hits. And I think that was their only record. And I walked into my brother's house one night.
Greatest shit.
I hear, "Hang on, helps on the way." I was like, "What the fuck are you listening to?
Why are you doing this?
Like, you have great records." And you put that on. I was like, I swear to hear it, man. I was like,
hey, how do you know what the great records are if you don't listen to the shitty ones?
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes I tell my students that.
One of our first episodes was about that.
I tell my students that like sometimes shitty music is very enlightening because it tells you what not to do, what you shouldn't do.
Or what some of them do is that they just keep listening to that and nothing else.
Bouncing around the room.
So, to all the dads out there who keep the lights on, who punish us and put us in our place, And we don't realize that you've done the right thing until about 20 years later. We thank you for turning us on to Led Zeppelin and the Beatles and Pink Floyd,
Charlie Daniels Band, Queen, and Allman Brothers, and we can go on and on. Uncles, this is one of my favorite episodes you've ever done. Thank you all, everyone. If you dug what we did, please like, comment, and share. If you're listening to us on the podcast, give us like a 5-star review on Apple. I found out that a 5-star review is a very important thing on Apple Music. I'm not on Apple Music, so I did not know 5. So if you all dig all that, and if you have any other suggestions of what dad rock is, that's dad right there, please hit us up in the comment section. We will talk to you about it because we're interested. We're going to do a mom rock episode eventually, and that's going to be real
Sultry.
It's going to be sultry. I'm going to dress up like Stevie. I'm going to dress up like Stevie Nicks for that episode. So next episode, please check out the Promise episode because that's what's next from Jimmy, John, and Adam. I am mildly disappointed in your grades, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Learn to read, you dumb bastard.